Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Culture Shock podcast. I'm yours truly, Culture Shock. We are here to discuss a division game. We are back with another one. This matchup is the Tennessee Titans coming on down to Indianapolis for the second competition of the year. The first time the Colts pretty much walked away pretty easily. Their first visit of seeing Cam Ward, he's shown flashes. Made chemistries with his top wide receiver that they also got in the draft, Marinor, but they did not put up enough. The Colts wound up dog walking them. The score was like 41-20. But this time they get a rematch. This time it's in Indianapolis. This should be a good game. Division games are always an interesting game to watch, regardless of the records and situations. So I'm excited for this matchup. I don't know about you guys, but the Colts are on a win streak, and they are still undefeated at home. A lot of teams can't say that, but being a Colts fan right now, you're on cloud nine, the happiest fans in the world. The Colts are playing phenomenal football. They are currently the best team in the NFL and the best team in the AFC South and the best team in the AFC. Who would have said this a few years ago or even going into the season? My expectations going into the season was at least win the division or make the wild card. But it looked like they're exceeding the expectations at this point because they are running away with the division and running away in the NFL. Now, of course, a lot of people want to take away from, the Colts' success so far just due to the strength of the schedule and things of that nature. But, you got to go out there and play football. It's any given Sunday, regardless of the situation of what you may think. The Colts are playing good football. They got the best running back in the league. They got the best offensive line in the league. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They got the best defensive tackle group in the NFL. Like, what else could you ask for? This team is playing on all cylinders and playing well while being battled with injuries. Charvarius Ward's out with concussion. Josh Downs just went out with an injury. So, Ashton Doolin just went out with an injury. A.D. Mitchell is on rep restriction. So it's like all of these things are playing, and they're still going out there and finding a way win football games. And one of those things being established is running the ball. We've asked for the Colts to do this for numerous of years, but the fact that they got a quarterback that understands how to play the position at a phenomenal rate has built a chemistry with the offensive line, with his receivers, with the running back, with the coach. They're walking around, you're almost thinking they're father and son. Him and the coach, Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones, are locked in. They have a beautiful chemistry. A few years back, while Daniel Jones was in college, Shane Steichen actually went out to watch him on Pro Day. So that was pretty interesting of a chemistry to go. So I feel like this was something that was going to happen in the future regardless of the situation. And they just happened to both land in Indianapolis. And it looked like they wanted this relationship for a while now. Let's say it's showing in the gameplay. Like I said, Daniel Jones is not, he's not the most perfect quarterback, but he's playing game managing football and playing it at a high rate. So you got to give credit where credit is due. But going into this game, it's a division game. It's going to be interesting. Going up against the Tennessee Titans, who happens to be on the downside of football. Cam Ward, it's looking like a deer in headlights. The offensive line is just not helping them at all. The coaching scheme, they're trying to dial it down and make it a little more simple for him. He is a rook, but they're trying to make it simple for him. But he's still showing flashes. He can still play the game. But the team in general is just playing losing football. So it's not the best moment of being a Titans fan right now. So a lot of Colts fans are happy to see this, but it's unfortunate to be in that situation because we've been there. We know how it goes. So the Titans are running like an 11 personnel, one running back, one tight end, three wide receivers. Their run directions is more outside zone, play actions, more vertical shots, and the emphasis on protection isn't really there. The offensive line is kind of, it's kind of iffy. So, it's going to be a lot of more motions and things of that nature for the offense. And from what we've seen the last time, they do like to take a lot of deep shots. So that should be interesting to see how this Colts defense is going to walk in at home and try to defend their home turf against this division game. It's going to be an interesting one. You can never count a division team out in a rivalry game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this defense plays against Cam Ward. Pressure-wise, the defensive line they've been winning pressure rates, but they have not been bringing the quarterback down. And if you watch Cam Ward, he is very mobile and he is pretty talented. He's even better when he's outside the pocket. The objective last time we played them was keeping him in the pocket so he doesn't make something happen out of nothing. So hopefully this team will be a little bit more locked in going into this matchup with Cam Ward, knowing what he can do. They even seen it last week with Justin Herbert, just finding plays out of nothing, thin air, just running out of the pocket and making something happen. The objective is trying to keep the quarterback in the pocket. He's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. You just have to throw the pressure on him. And me knowing DeForest Buckner going into this game, he is going hunting this week. I just know he is. Roper Stewart had a good week last week. The last time we played the Titans, they had some success on the run. But the run defense has been improving week by week. And even from last week against the Chargers, you've seen it. They only had like 50 rushing yards. So I'm expecting them to go into this week bringing some heat. So that should be interesting to see how the Colts defense goes up against the Tennessee Titans. The last time we played, Kenny Moore, before he got hurt, caught a pick six on Cam Ward. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Kenny Moore is going to look this week if he's available to play against the Titans. It should be an interesting one. So the Titans defense, led by Bernard Wilson, who is a phenomenal coach. They attack on multiple defenses. They are very flexible. So they do a lot of press coverage. They do have multiple fronts, more of a 3-4 type scheme. So they do situational blitzes, as you guys know. They do like to send a lot of pressure. Sweat and Simmons both did go down. Sweat just returned, but Simmons went down with an injury last week. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be available this week. Probably not. So that's a huge loss on their behalf. So that's going to be interesting to see how they look going into this game. Offensively, like I said, they struggled with protecting Cam Ward, so that should be another issue looming going into this game, the protection-wise. So hopefully Latu can go out there and win some reps. Maybe he can go out there and catch a pick. Defensively, they've been looking a little shaky. The run defense, like I said, could be, showing its rear end this week, especially with a guy like Jonathan Taylor on the opposite side who's been on the tear. 3-touchdown man. He's been on a tear. He might can go off for another week. And if you have a Jonathan Taylor success rate, if he's going out there and cooking, feed him. It's that simple. Just go out there and feed Jonathan Taylor. So that should be interesting to see how that goes. Protection-wise, the Titans haven't been protecting the ball, especially last week. Cam Ward fumbled and threw a pick. So I know he's probably just going through the ringer right now. So it should be interesting to see how he matches up against this Colts team. Like I said, it's a division game, so he might go out there and go crazy. Who knows? For the Colts, 12 personnel set. Lou Anarumo's been very aggressive press coverage and definitely disguises a lot of stunts and blitz schemes. So it might look like one thing at one point, but it switches at the end. And he's been doing an amazing job of what he got out there, especially with all of those injuries, man. Those guys out there on the field are, they're playing their hearts out, man, for real. Shout out to Nick Cross, too. So that's going to be interesting to see how to match up against Cam Ward this week for the second meeting. Edge rush, like I said, for the Colts, hasn't been great. Like I said, they've been winning pressures. They've been getting pressure rates, but they just have been getting home and getting sacks. So that should be interesting to see how the edge rush works against Cam Ward, in which you will need, because if he goes outside, even when it runs, like they did the first meeting, it could get ugly. So that should be interesting to see how that goes for the Titans, man. Definitely the Colts gotta wake up. They gotta wake up the pass rush, man. Definitely go trade for somebody if they can do anything. The protection for the offensive line said it hasn't been great. But you got Cam Ward, so I'm sure he can make something happen out of nothing. This should be an interesting game. Daniel Jones for the offensive side. The offense has been going crazy. I feel like the offense has been getting better week by week, honestly. So I feel like this week against the Titans, it should probably go bonkers. Honestly, they've been scoring at a fast rate too. Like it takes them like at the max 3 minutes to get the ball into the end zone, which is insane. This is me just guessing, but just do the gameplay for what it looks like. That's exactly what it looks like, man. Yeah, so like I said, for the Titans, Sweat just returned. And Simmons just got a hamstring injury in the first quarter last week. So it's going to be interesting to see how he looks going into this week, if he's going to be available to play or not. They gave up 175 rushing yards last week, the Titans, against the Patriots. And, with the Colts being on the run, Jonathan Taylor last week had 3 rushing touchdowns. So that should be interesting to see how they match up against that. Like I said, the run game is the most dominant thing. The offense is balanced. And for the Colts defense, that's going to be the big deciding factor this week, if they can go out there and make a stop or not, and who got the momentum. Momentum is a huge thing in this matchup. So we should see. So the run defense for the Titans, again, isn't great. Um, and for their offense, they are very inconsistent. So it should be interesting to see what their scheme may be. They're going to send a lot of go shots. I know they're going to send a lot of shots down the field, especially if you looked at last week's matchup with the Chargers and Colts, with Jonathan Edwards being out there on Keenan Allen. I just know Cam Ward's going to go out there and try to heave the ball down the field. But this is where the safety play come in for the Colts. The safety's got to be back there and be available. It's just that simple. So it should be interesting to see how they match up against this team. The explosive plays, I would say the explosive Titans. Explosive plays are definitely going to be a key thing for the Titans this week, especially due to the offensive line not being available, just strength-wise. So that should be another key factor to look in. The key players I'm going to be watching this game for the Colts, offense and defense-wise. For offense, I'm going to look at Jonathan Taylor for sure. That's a no question. And Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce has been going on a tear lately. Especially he's been on a quiet run of being consistent. He was out a few weeks due to injury with a concussion, but since he's returned, he's shown how available and how reliable he is. So he's going to be my player to watch this week, especially last week when they just tried to get his favorite play to go route. They tried to get it off, but going up against the Titans, I'm sure it's going to be bound to work at least once against this team. Their secondary is sneakily good. It's sneaky good with secondary, but like I said, they have shown some holes. So I'm looking for Daniel Jones to try to find Alec Pierce this week. And I feel like the success rate might be available. I feel like he might get it off this week. So I look forward for Jonathan Taylor and Alec Pierce. Those are my go-to guys this week. And for defense, I'm going to choose Cam Bynum and Jermaine Pratt. I think Jermaine Pratt could have himself a good week. This might be his final straw, honestly. The last 2 weeks has been a little but this week against the Titans, he got to show something. And I know the plays last week where, he was trying to watch Herbert, trying to disguise him and making a turnover, but it just didn't work out in his favor just because Herbert's very smart. But this week, with Cam Ward back there, quarterback, I'm sure he's going to be bound to try to make a play. So Zaire Franklin played pretty good last week, so he's not going to be my guy to watch. But my 2 guys will be Cam Bynum and Jermaine Pratt. Cam Bynum's been silently good, but he got to go out there and make a splash this week. He owes me one. It's just that simple. And Jermaine Pratt, he's due to have a good game. Like I said, he's been on the brink of, having explosive play, key making plays, but it's just been a little rusty. Like I said, he's been off the field for a while. So going back into the loose scheme in New Jersey, it probably could take a little while. Even though you know the system, I'm just going to give him a benefit of the doubt. So Pratt, Bynum, Pierce, and Taylor are my go-to guys. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section about this matchup. Who do you got winning? If you're a Titans fan or a Colts fan, let me know in the comment section as well. All these things, and we will see you guys after the game. I might be live during the game as well, so you can watch it with me on X, or you can watch it with me here on YouTube. So that should be interesting. Until next time, this is Culture Shock. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe, and I will see you guys next time. Go Colts.